good morning. Welcome back out to the shop. It's been quite a while since we've had a video. Life has been throwing it at us again through the summertime. My son's getting ready to get married. He purchased a home, a modular home, and they've been busy clearing their land and stuff like that, and I had to do some daddy duty and build some catch basins because, you know, as the older I get, the more I don't like road ditches, so we built catch basins so all that can be filled in so it'll stay mowable. So just been super busy. Still have the parts for the lathe sitting here. Just holding off on a lot of that stuff until we have time to do it. I don't want to get started on it and not get a little task done and finished on it. So I thought I would, just dedicate some time to do it and be done with it. And besides all these other little projects, plus I can't get to half of the shop. My son's building himself a farmhouse table and has that side of the shop. This side of the shop is air conditioned and the back side is not. So it's 90 degrees back there and it's 72 up here. So he's up here. But we do have my old lawnmower. The deck finally rusted away on it. So we're building a stainless steel belly tank and turning it into a sprayer. So I have roughly an acre in grass, 40,000 feet-ish about. And my son, he'll have some. And then, whoever wants to borrow it, I reckon can come borrow it too. So family, I should say. No YouTubers coming to get this, please. We're going to build a stainless steel belly tank for it. We had one mounted on the back, but man, if you've ever done a zero turn that's had anything on the back, they get front light really fast. So we're going to try to get about 20-gallon tank out of it. So I mocked one up in cardboard. So it's basically this shape right here. Of course, it'll have a top and a bottom. And then on the front, we'll notch this out here and add some more to the front to bring it all the way out to the front. And that's where the pump and all the fittings will mount. So we're busy doing that right now. I haven't had a chance to get down to our local steel supplier to pick up a sheet of probably 14 gauge, something like that, of a stainless steel. And then we'll make the belly tank out of it. And I know it's probably overkill, but I want a stainless steel tank. So that's what we're going to do. Couldn't find a plastic one that would fit under there and keep the sides where, you can step right onto this. Everything's going to be under here and have 6 inches of clearance. So it should work perfectly. So that'll be, I'm sure we'll make some videos on that. And then what else have we got going on? That's about, you can see, let me go this way. You can see a 3D printer in the background. I bought a Creality Ender 3 Pro and love it. Man, I've only printed out a couple things on it, but man, it prints, they say it leaves lines and stuff like that, but it's pretty good. I'll show you the prints just right out of the machine or right out of as soon as I assembled it, put it together, ran a test dog that's on their card, and then using their G-code, and then I went into Fusion 360. It's what I use for, all the 3D modeling that we do. And they also have a slicer. So I also did a part that we're going to use at work. I wanted to make one. I shouldn't say a part we're going to use at work. It'll be made out of steel, of course. But I wanted to see how the drawing worked related to the actual printing of it would work. And it works great. I'll show you that too. But I went ahead and did the upgrades that they all say you should do to the Creality Ender 3, which is the upgraded extruder. The updated extruder and the upgraded, is it called bougie tube or whatever that tube is? Anyway, I did that, and it's sitting over there printing a pineapple for my sister-in-law. She loves pineapples. It happened to be on Thingiverse, so I just downloaded it, and we're going to print it out. But I wanted to show you these. So this is straight off their printer, and this is right off of their card that came with the printer. And I mean, I'm hard pressed to find many lines in this thing. I mean, it did a great job. So I'm looking down at my monitor to make sure I keep everything in here. So I thought the detail was, outstanding. Now this took 3 hours, but the fill was pretty high. And I see one little mark down about right here is about all I can see. But I mean, it turned out great. Straight out of the box. No question, no problems with it at all. Now this is a socket adapter. So we use a torque testing bench at work, and what the test bench does, it has a couple load cells in it, and it has a male sticking out of the cell, sort of like that. It's either going to be a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch. 3/8 or 1/2 inch. And we have to make it, we have an adapter that goes either from 1/2 to 3/8, depending on the tool that goes on it, or 1/2 to 1/2. But sometimes some of these tools are fixtured and they have fancy sockets and all them, and we don't want to, shouldn't take, to do the test correctly, you should couple it to the test cell as best you can. But in the essence of saving time, sometimes it's easier just to use a socket adapter, put it on the cell, and then hook right to the socket and be able to test it. So it's just quicker while the lines are running in production, that if you want to do a quick check, you just put it straight down on there, run the test, make 3 to 5 pulls on it with an electric tool that takes no time at all, and you have readings that are very accurate. So, but we needed a bunch of these little socket adapters, and you can buy them. We're probably just going to give this to the machinist at work and he can make them. But we designed it, in a Fusion 360, even put the size on the top. So this is a 1 inch. So I went, I printed this thing off to see how good it would do. So straight off the printer, I mean, it looks, you can see it. It looks, let me get it here so it'll focus better. It looks very good. So the test is, though, this is a 1 inch socket. I mean, it fits in there like a dream. Let's see if you can see it here. Like a dream. And then the other end is a 1/2 inch. So you can check the 1/2 inch also. And it's a dead nuts perfect fit. So for a 3D printer, we have a very expensive Mark forged at work. I think it costs 50 grand. And I'm telling you, this little one does better work. I mean, you can't, in the Mark forged, now whether whoever's running it doesn't know what they're doing, but I mean, you can't see any of the slicer lines, any of that salmon skin that everybody talks about. This turned out really good. Kind of disappointing in a $50,000 Mark forged, when this one's doing pretty good job. So I think I paid $234 for it. It was on sale. I mean, it took a month to get here, but then I spent maybe $50, $60, $80 in upgrades. So for what, $350? And I don't even know if it needed the upgrade. So we'll print the pineapple and I'll let you know. But man, I'm super, super impressed with how good this is printing. So just another toy in the shop, I reckon. So our next thing, though, is I wanted to print. Let me go get it right quick. Be right back. So this is a part that goes in the Sidney Lathe. It's a bushing that goes where the feed handle goes on the carriage. So it should have 2 splines in here, 2 keys, I should say, not cut into here, but male keys. I don't know what you call it. I call them splines, 2 directly across from each other. I reached out to Adam Booth, Abom79, and asked him about making it. And he did what I would recommend, or probably am going to end up doing, is just end up making this part, broaching it, and then probably tack in 2 keys and then grind it back down or turn it back down, whatever we get to make that part. But since I have the 3D printer now, I'm going to print it just to get all the sizes right. I know the 3D printer, and it's an inexpensive way to test a part. So as accurate it was, I mean, I was pretty impressed with that adapter. I mean, it's dead nuts. Exactly what I programmed in the Fusion 360 is exactly what it printed. And it's kind of rare. So I think it is anyway, because I handle these 3D parts off these expensive 3D printers, and they won't pass their tolerance zone. So, I'm pretty impressed. So this is next. So we'll print this, and then I have a lot more stuff for the lathe to print. The lathe came with a metric dial on the compound, not on the compound, on the cross slide. It has a metric dial. So of course we want to do an imperial dial on that. The thing about the Sidney lathe is it's not a standard just round with the lines across it. It's angled, tapered. I'll put a picture up here so you can see what it looks like. And I'm getting older. The millimeter lines, of course, you could do conversions, and I could put a DRO, which still might do. But in the meantime, I'd rather have a metal one with diameter measurements on it. So in imperial, preferably too. So that we're going to draw that up. We're going to print that out, make sure everything works, and then we'll see if I can find somebody to make it for us. So because we don't have a CNC and all those lines on there. I mean, there's a ton of them. The dial's, you know, not a small dial. It's probably 4 inches around. So we're going to keep on doing that. Let me see if I have that here. Might even have it. Right here it is. So it's about 3 inches around. So, but you can see how this thing is made. I mean, you know, it's in metric though. Let me see. I couldn't figure out. It's a U.S. Navy lathe, and you know, from 43, and it's got metric dial on it. I was like, oh man. So I didn't know it until we got it cleaned up and then read it. I said, man, that's a lot of marks, and it ended up being metric. So anyway, we need to get one of these made. So, you know, it doesn't look like the simplest thing to make, but you know, somebody out there, I'm sure is going, man, that's super simple. So, but we're going to print this out too as soon as I get it drawn, and then we'll keep on. The welding table, it's working great. Still love it. I seen where Jason from Fireball Tools just did his a video on welding tables too, and exactly what he found in the welding table is exactly what we have. It has a small crown in it. So, but nothing that will affect anything that I'll ever do. It was made so you could sit down and weld small parts comfortably. It wasn't made to fix your big part pieces like that. After I seen his videos like that, I was like, man, that first one he showed would be perfect right here. So whether we get to that point where we need a table that's, you know, dead nuts flat and all that, I mean, it always helps to have a dead nuts flat table. This one is pretty damn flat, but it's not within thousands flat. So it has a, you know, it's what I consider a pretty flat table anyway. So, but we may, you know, eventually look into something like that, because man, I was pretty impressed with that table, that big one he had. Anyway, I digress. Get into other stuff. So we're going to continue on. We'll continue to make videos, and hopefully sooner than later, we'll get the Sidney Lathe running. So until next time, see ya.